What is up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there crushing some fish. This was last night's session. Look at that. Picturesque, except for that little bit right there. But not bad. Won some big hands. Both the net 1 and the EV were upward sloping pretty much the whole time. Let's take a look at some of the hands and see how this happened and what went well, or possibly what went wrong within this session. Let's jump into it. First hand we're looking at is at a 100 NL table. We have ace queen offsuit. From the cutoff, we open raise to 3x and we get 3-bet by the button, who has a 9.5 3-bet percentage, and only 33% of those 3-bets are with premium hands. So I know this player bets a lot within his polarized range, and an ace queen plays really well against this type of player. You could put in a 4-bet here, but I see he only folds a very small amount to 4-bets, so I decide just to call, even though I am out of position. We see a flop of 6 high, rainbow, 2 threes. Does not connect with much unless this player had a 3 in his range and was playing that polarized range, which is possible, but not that probable. I check back. He continuation bets for $10. I'm going to call here with the ace high, thinking that he did not connect with this flop and that we are still ahead of most of his range. So I do call, and we see a 7 on the turn. I check back once again, and he checks as well. We see a 4 of clubs on the river. When he checks back on the turn, I know that this board does not connect with him at all, and I'm going to call pretty much any bet here on the river. But he checks back, and we take down this pot with the ace queen. Not exactly sure what he had, but I thought this was an interesting hand, and I thought we played it pretty well. Still at the 100 NL, we have pocket aces under the gun +1. Open raise to 3x. Folds around to the button, who makes a call. The button is a regular player, but has pretty loose aggressive numbers. High bet percentages on the flop, turn, and slightly less on the river. Doesn't show down all that great though. I just checked back with this flop. Connects with a lot of his pre-flop calling ranges, and he bets about half pot. I just call here. The jack of diamonds comes on the turn. I just check back again. He bets half pot, and I just call. At this point, I decide just to get to showdown for as cheap as possible. The 7 doesn't connect with any of the draws, so I decided to check back the river to try to induce some bluffs from draws that missed. He could have a king in his hand that missed a straight draw. He could have 2 hearts that missed a flush draw. He could have a 9 in his hand that missed a straight draw. So I check back, and he bets again a little bit less than half pot. I'm going to be calling here with the pocket aces, and we lose to a flopped straight, but I think we got out of that one pretty cheap. If you guys think we could have played this one differently, let me know in the comment section below. I took a little bit of a different line. I thought it was interesting, but I think the goal was to get to showdown for as cheap as possible, which we pretty much accomplished. I think we probably could have put in some small blocker bets at some points during this hand, and when we get raised by the flop straight, we might have been able to get out of this hand a little bit cheaper. But let me know what you think down in the comments section. That was the biggest hand we had lost of the evening, of $29. Besides that, it was pretty much all in green. It's crazy how well we ran during this session. Now we're looking at pocket 9s at the 50 NL table. We are in the small blind. Full drawn to us, and we bet to $2. A little bit of a blind battle here with a fishy player to our left. 55% VPIP, but low aggression post flop. I come out for 253, 2/3 of the pot, with a 6 high rainbow flop. A 3 comes on the turn, giving a lot of hands straights, and a lot of these hands are going to be in this player's range. There's 906 in the pot and 1746 in this player's stack, so he has less than 2-to-1 stack to pot ratio. Pretty much pot committing us, and he jams all in with his entire stack. Straights are most likely not going to be making this play because they're going to try to suck as much money out of us as possible. This looks like a very bluffy type bet, and we are pot committed, so we should not be folding it anyway unless we can put this player on a big hand where we have to get out of it. But I do make the call with the 9s and see that he only had a pair of 3s and a gut shot straight draw. I guess he could have hit an 8 as well on the river, but we take this pot down with 9s beating his threes. Now we got some heads up action. What's up, Keemster? Keemster's been working on his game. He's playing pretty well. I know he's been making some money on the tables. I've seen him moving up in the stakes. According to the 5.7 thousand hands I have on Keemster, he's been running at a 21 big blind per 100 win rate. Man, that is insane. Nice work. So I put in the 3-bet with pocket kings, and Keemster makes the call, sees a flop in position. He knows how I play, and I'm going to be putting a lot of pressure here and 3-betting quite a few hands, especially in heads up play. And we see a flop of queen high rainbow. I bet 450 again on the flop, and he makes a call. It's kind of a loose call, but you do have a lot of backdoor draws, and if you were thinking about floating and maybe jamming the turn and getting me to fold a lot of the hands I missed, that makes sense. He does pick up the flush draw on the turn, and I just jam all in. We're pretty much pot committed here. 18 bucks in the middle. He's got 14 in his stack, and he does make the call with the flush draw. I've got one of the blockers with the king of clubs in my stack, and he winds up missing. We take that pot down. But nice work, Keemster, man. Keep it up. You're playing well. Now we're looking at pocket aces at the 50 NL table. We have an open raise from under the gun, and we 3-bet under the gun +1 to 450. We get a call on the button, and the under the gun raiser calls as well. We get a flop of rainbow ace high. We flop top set, and we are going to play that top set like it should be on this very dry board, and that is slow play the shit out of it. So we check back, and the button decides to bet. Little bit less than half pot. Under the gun calls, and we just call as well. That might look a little fishy, but we just built a $34.56 pot committing all the players. And here's where we might want to put in a small bet to try to make it easier for us to get in a river bet. But I do check back. I think that was a mistake. The button checks back as well. The river's the jack of hearts. Under the gun leads out for $6. That is a complete blocker bet. Trying to get to showdown for cheap with probably an ace, maybe something like pocket kings, pocket queens. I put in a raise here to try to get as much value out of the full house aces over threes as possible. It's going to be really hard for this player to fold to a $12 raise in a $60 pot. He only has to be right about 20% of the time in order for this call to make sense. But he does make the fold, and we pick up that pot of 46.56. Now we're looking at ace queen suited in the hijack seat at a 25 NL table. We open raise to 75 cents, 3x, and we get a call from the button as well as the small blind, and the big blind comes along as well. We flop the nut flush draw as well as a gut shot straight draw. We bet 2/3 of the pot on the flop. We get a call from the button, and we get check raised from the big blind. It's about 480 for us to make this call into a pot of 1351, and we've got some decent stacks in each of these players, so I do just make the call, and we wind up hitting the nut flush on the turn. If this player did check raise something like king 10, we are now way behind. If they check raised pocket nines for a full house, we're still way behind, and he leads out for 450. I just call here, and he checks the river. When he checks the river, I know that we are good here with our flush. So I put in a big river bet. He is beyond pot committed again. His stack to pot ratio is 0.5, and there's no way he really should be folding here unless he just completely missed, which he must have. I don't know what he was check raising with there, but I do see Mortalock making some plays that are outside the box a lot of the time, which is what you have to do against regular players like myself. But we take down that pot and add 26 bucks to our stack. Now we're looking at pocket jacks in the small blind at the 100 NL table. Folds around to the button, who open raises 2.5x, $2.50. We 3-bet it to 850, and we get a call from the button. Flop is 7 high rainbow. We lead out for 2/3 of the pot, and we get a re-raise jam. The player on the button, Fat Cat 5000, is a recreational player, hasn't won when re-raising on the flop yet, but has shown down pretty well. It's about 40 bucks for us to call into a pot of 82. We're getting 2-1. We are pretty much pot committed here, and not going to be getting rid of the jacks too often against most players. So I do make the call, and he has an outside straight draw as well as the eights. Pretty close, actually. We are a 61.31% favorite here. We hit a jack on the turn, helping us out a lot, moving us up to an 81.82% favorite. He now has to hit a 9 or a 4 on the river, and the queen comes, and we take down that pot of $120. Biggest big blind win of the night came on this hand. We have pocket queens in the big blind. Keemster leads out for 3x 75 cents, and we 3-bet from the big blind. Keemster is super deep. He must have been hot on this table. He makes the call. The button makes the call as well. There's 9-10 in the pot pre-flop. We got a pot building. I check back on the 10 high flop. Keemster bets half pot, and we get a re-raise from the button. I just call here, and Keemster calls as well. The turn is the 3 of diamonds. There are now a ton of draws out there. I think there's going to be a lot of aces within Keemster's range. He's got a gut shot now, and we are pot committed. He's pot committed. Let's try to get it all in. I think we're going to be in the lead here a lot of the times, unless Keemster was playing pocket 10s. I think pocket 10s are the only thing within his range right now that are going to be beating us, and he does make the call. The river's the jack of spades. That hits quite a few of the draws. That hits pocket jacks as well. I just check back here. We can probably save us some money when we check back on the river there to hands like pocket aces or pocket kings that might check back as well. Not sure what either of these players had, but we do take down the pot of over $50 with the pocket queens and pick up 115 big blinds with that hand. Still at the 25 NL table, we have king 9 of clubs on the button, and we open raise to 3x, and we get 3-bet by the big blind. Pretty polarized 3-bet range. We're both deep stacked. I think this is a great spot to call a 3-bet in position, and it's an even better spot to call a 3-bet in position when you flop the nuts, and he leads out for over pot on the flop. I'm going to be slow playing here. I don't want to give away too much, so I just make a call. There's the king of hearts on the turn, and he slows down and bets only 240. Now I put in a raise to 3x his bet, and he makes a call. That will set us up perfectly for a good sized river bet with the nuts. It's going to be 2/3 of the pot on the river. There's no way either of us should be folding here. He bets 820. We get the rest of our chips in. It's like it's about a $10 raise. He's getting over 5-1 on his money, but he does make a fold. That final club on the river might have saved him some money, but we take down the pot of $44 with the flopped nut flush. Head down to the video description for links to America's Card Room and Hold'em Manager, which we used to play the poker and make this video. All of my poker playing is done on America's Card Room. Use promo code DKPoker to receive a $1,000 cash deposit bonus, as well as 50 tournament bucks. Check out the other links in the video description as well, like social media and the Twitch channel. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitch so that we can have some fun during the live streaming sessions. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you guys have not done that yet. We've got quite the community growing. I appreciate all of you guys who have subscribed already, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content and really learning from the poker play that I'm putting out there. I know I'm really having fun making this content and playing this poker. So again, hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on any of the action in the future. Looking forward to your comments below as well. Be back soon with a new video, but until then, I'll see you guys out on the virtual felt.